silence. Yes, silence. In a world full of noise, distractions, arguments, and endless talking, silence has become rare. But silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. Silence is wisdom. Silence is power. Let's discover how and why. 1. Silence helps you understand more. When you're silent, you listen. And when you truly listen, you learn. Think about it. When you're busy talking, you're only sharing what you already know. But when you're quiet, you're able to learn what others know. Example. Imagine you're in a room full of successful people. You talk less, observe more. You learn how they think, how they act, what they avoid. This quiet observation becomes your secret advantage. That's the power of silence. 2. Silence keeps you away from unnecessary problems. Many times in life, we speak when we should stay quiet. We react, we argue, we defend ourselves, and later, we regret it. Silence gives you control. It gives you time to think, pause, and respond wisely, or not respond at all. Example. Let's say someone insults you. You feel angry, you want to reply, but you pause. You stay silent. You walk away with peace, and they lose their power over you. That's strength. Silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to choose peace over drama. 3. Silence is a sign of confidence. People who are insecure talk too much. They try to prove themselves. But truly confident people don't need to shout. They don't need to explain themselves to everyone. Example. In interviews or meetings, the person who speaks calmly, clearly, and knows when to pause often wins the most respect. They don't rush. They don't chase approval. Their silence speaks louder than words. Sometimes just being quiet shows that you trust yourself. That's the silent power of confidence. 4. Silence is a tool for self-reflection. When you sit in silence, with no phone, no music, no distractions, you begin to hear yourself. Your thoughts, your fears, your dreams, your truth. This is where real change begins. This is where goals become clear. This is where healing happens. Example. Great thinkers like Buddha, Einstein, and even modern creators have said, "Some of my best ideas came in silence. When the world is too loud, go silent, and you'll start hearing your inner voice." Final lines of part 1. So remember, silence is not empty. It's full of answers. Silence is not weakness. It's powerful strength. Silence is not boring. It's deeply peaceful. Part 2. Practicing the power of silence in daily life. In part 1, we discovered that silence is strength. Now in part 2, let's learn how to use silence in real life. At home, at work, in relationships, and in our personal growth. This part is about practice, how silence becomes a habit, and a superpower. 1. Use silence to strengthen relationships. One of the biggest problems in relationships is reacting too fast. We speak without thinking. We say words we don't mean, and we hurt each other. But silence changes that. Example. Imagine your friend or partner is angry and says something rude. Instead of replying immediately, you take a deep breath. You stay silent. You give space. Later, when emotions are calm, you talk. This silence protects your bond. It prevents a small issue from becoming a big fight. Silence gives room for love to breathe. 2. Use silence in arguments to stay powerful. In arguments, people usually raise their voices to win, but the strongest person in the room is often the one who stays calm and silent. Example. A wise leader once said, "When angry, count to 10 before you speak. If very angry, count to 100. That's silence in action. Silence makes you unpredictable. When you don't react emotionally, the other person doesn't know what's in your mind, and that gives you power. Silence is your emotional shield. It protects your peace. 3. Use silence to improve focus and creativity. In silence, your brain gets space to think. In silence, your mind organizes thoughts, ideas, and dreams. Example: many great artists, writers, and entrepreneurs spend quiet time every morning. No phone, no people, just thinking and reflecting. They say their best ideas come during these quiet hours. You don't need a mountain. Even 10 to 15 minutes of quiet time in your room can open new doors in your mind. Silence is a factory for ideas. 4. Use silence to heal emotionally. We all carry pain, past wounds, regrets, broken dreams. Talking about it helps, but sometimes healing needs silence too. Example: when you sit in silence and just feel, without distraction, you begin to let go. Tears may come, emotions may rise, but slowly the storm inside you becomes calm. Silence lets you connect with your heart. It says, "It's okay, I'm listening." That is how true healing begins. 5. Use silence to build inner discipline. We live in a loud world, full of social media, noise, opinions, distractions. Practicing silence is like a workout for your mind. Start with small steps. A few minutes of quiet every day. No phone during meals. Silent walks in nature. Listening without interrupting. At first it's hard, but slowly your mind becomes sharper, your emotions calmer, your decisions wiser. This silence builds mental discipline, the kind that leads to success. Final lines of Part 2. So friends, silence is not just the absence of sound. It is the presence of strength, peace, wisdom, and deep personal power. When used wisely, silence can save relationships, build confidence, sharpen focus, heal pain, and lead to true success. Part 3. Silence and Leadership. How quiet people become great leaders. In Part 1 and 2, we learned how silence gives us emotional strength, focus, and peace. Now in Part 3, let's go deeper. We'll explore how silent people often become the strongest leaders. They don't shout, they don't try to impress, yet people trust them, follow them, and feel safe around them. Let's understand why. 1. Silent leaders. Listen more than they talk. One of the most powerful leadership tools is not speaking, it's listening. Example: in a big company meeting, everyone talks to show how smart they are. But there's one person who listens carefully. They take notes. They observe people's emotions. Then, when they finally speak, their words are sharp, calm, and wise. That person becomes the real leader. People don't follow noise. They follow wisdom, and wisdom grows in silence. 2. Silent leaders control emotions under pressure. A leader often faces pressure, deadlines, conflicts, criticism. Loud leaders shout and blame others, but silent leaders stay calm. Example: imagine a sports team is losing. The coach is silent, focused, not panicking. Players look at him and feel strong again. His silence is like a message. Stay calm, we will rise. This type of leadership creates trust. People know our leader is not shaken. Calmness is courage in quiet form. 3. Silent people lead by action, not just words. Silent leaders don't talk too much about what they'll do. They do it, and that action speaks louder than any speech. Example: there's a manager who never brags, never gives long lectures, but every project he touches succeeds. He works hard in silence and lets results speak. Soon, everyone starts following his way because it works. Silent action creates loud respect. 4. Silent leaders are observers. They see what others miss. When you speak all the time, you miss details. But when you stay quiet and watch, you notice everything. Example: in a group of friends, the quiet one often understands everyone's moods. They know who's sad, who's lying, who's real, even without words, because they're not focused on being heard. They're focused on understanding. This skill helps silent people make better decisions. Silence sharpens your mind like a sword. 5. Silent people speak with purpose, not for attention. Silent leaders speak when it matters. Their words are chosen carefully. Their voice is calm, and because they speak less, people listen more. Example: imagine a teacher who rarely speaks in class, but when she does, the whole room becomes quiet. Why? Because her words carry weight. She doesn't speak to fill silence. She speaks to create meaning. In a noisy world, silence becomes a magnet. Final lines of part 3. So friends, if you feel you're not loud, not flashy, not talkative, that's okay. In fact, it might be your biggest strength. Silence doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise, strong, and deeply respected. Part 4. Silence and self-transformation. Change yourself without making noise. Now in part 4, we'll talk about how silence helps us transform ourselves. Not by shouting our goals, but by quietly becoming who we want to be. Most people talk a lot about changing. I will start a business. I will lose weight. I will become a better person. But they don't take action. Because real transformation doesn't begin with big announcements. It begins in silence, with discipline, reflection, and daily effort. 1. Silence helps you hear your inner voice. In today's world, we are always surrounded by noise, social media, gossip, opinions. Because of this, we stop hearing our own thoughts. But when you sit in silence, without your phone, without distraction, you begin to hear a soft voice inside you. That voice says, "You are not happy with this job. You need to stop pleasing everyone. You are made for something bigger." Transformation starts the moment you listen to yourself. And for that, you need silence. 2. Silent time builds powerful habits. No one builds a great life with one loud decision. Success is built with small daily habits, done in silence, without applause. Example: a person wakes up at 5 a.m. every day. No one sees them. They read, they write, they exercise. Quietly, with no post, no audience. After 6 months, their life looks completely different. People ask, "How did you change?" And the answer is simple: silence plus discipline. Noise shows the wish. Silence shows the work. 3. Don't announce. Just improve silently. When we tell everyone about our goals, we feel good. But that feeling can be fake progress. Instead, work on yourself silently. Example: someone says, "I'm going to write a book," but they never start. Another person says nothing but writes 1 page every night. After 6 months, they have a full book, while the first person has only words. Let your silence surprise people with your success. 4. In silence, you notice what needs to change. When you sit quietly, you start noticing your own patterns. How often you complain. How much time you waste. How easily you get angry or distracted. That awareness is the beginning of self-change. You can't improve what you don't notice. So instead of running from your problems, face them in silence. Ask yourself, why am I stuck? What do I need to let go of? What habits are holding me back? These questions are hard, and they need quiet space to be answered. 5. Silent progress is strong progress. The tree that grows slowly and silently is the strongest. It doesn't ask for attention. It just grows. Deep roots, strong branches, quietly reaching the sky. In the same way, you don't have to impress anyone with quick results. Just be consistent, silent, and focused. In 1 year, you'll be unrecognizable. Not because you shouted, but because you changed. Final thoughts of Part 4. So friends, if you truly want to transform your life, don't look for applause or attention. Don't make noise about what you will become. Just become it. Quietly, steadily, with deep inner strength. Part 5. Silence in relationships. Speak less, understand more. Now in Part 5, we'll talk about how silence can actually strengthen relationships. We often think that talking more will solve everything. But sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. Let's explore how choosing silence at the right time can bring more peace, love, and understanding into your life. 1. Silence helps you truly listen. Most people listen to reply, not to understand. They hear words, but their mind is preparing a comeback. But when you stay silent and just listen, something magical happens. The other person feels heard, valued, respected. Example: a friend is sharing their problems. You don't interrupt. You don't offer instant advice. You just listen with full attention. In that silence, your friend feels comforted. Not because you solved everything, but because you allowed them space to express. Sometimes, silence is the most healing thing you can offer. 2. Silence in conflict brings peace. During an argument, both people often try to be right. Voices rise, tempers flare, and the result? Hurt feelings. But what if you choose silence? Not to run away, not to be weak, but to stop the fire before it burns everything. Example: